All right. So what's going on, folks? Finally, a show where we started actually on time for once. So as you know, tonight, and I hope, first of all, hopefully everybody enjoyed the bye week and everything. But as you know, tonight we're talking about FAMU Texas Southern. So we move on to yet another game out of the bye week. FAMU nice and rested and everything such as that. So what's at stake today? Of course, keeping pace, staying ahead of everybody else in the SWAC Championship. Obviously, for the SWAC Championship to host, obviously, and then of course, creating more space between you and the teams out in the West as far as needing to secure that home field advantage. So tonight is a must win. Next week is a must win, such as that, and everything else. So, of course, what's on the ledger for tonight? Prior to kickoff, obviously, players to watch. What else? Of course, there's going to be a score prediction later on. Couple of questions. Your thoughts and your opinions of tonight and what you hope to see tonight. Is the running game looking to be at its best tonight against a three-man front? We're going to talk about that too. As well, also, FAMU's first trip to Texas since the 1960s. So it's been a long time since FAMU was last seen playing football in the Lone Star State. So a lot on the line tonight. Also, too, Moose's progression continuing to grow, especially coming out of a bye week where he's had time to rest now. Trevonte Davis is a guy that's back as well. From what I've heard, he made the trip. Also, too, a former Rattler will be on the sideline tonight, too, who is also a current Dallas Cowboy. He'll be in the house as well. So we have all the good stuff tonight. So don't go anywhere, get comfy. Of course, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, as always. Where is it at? Let me go ahead and find it. So, yes, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I know you're already watching. If you've been tuning in and watching and everything on Twitter, you might as well just come on over to YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, too, while the video's going, be sure to leave a comment. We're out of the bye week. We're on the home stretch now for the regular season. We're gearing up to go into the postseason now. So get comfy. And as always, let's go ahead and roll this intro. Let's go. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So with that being said, what's at stake? Let's go ahead and start with FAMU, of course, honestly. And then, of course, as we go on tonight, if you guys have questions and stuff, go ahead and drop those in the comment section. Willie Simmons said in his interview, my bad. That was not his interview. So Willie Simmons actually said in his interview Monday, getting ready for this game this week, that, finally they got some guys back healthy, which is a excellent thing, and that's great news to hear. He also said fundamentally we needed to get better in some areas, and physically we needed to get healthier in some areas. Also, of course, coaches talk. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Now, I wrote down some things that he said. I also typed up some things that he also said too. So he also said seeing, and of course I know everybody saw what happened in the SWAC landscape and just in the college football landscape last week. You see USF lose their homecoming by over a dozen. You see Bethune lose their homecoming to Texas Southern, the team you're playing tonight. You see Jackson State lose their homecoming to an Alabama State team who you've already beaten. And then you see, oh my goodness, who else? Grambling lose their homecoming to an Alabama A&M team who you'll see the week after homecoming. And then, you just see, and then you see an Alabama team who's winning right now nearly blow their homecoming against Arkansas. So, I mean, it goes back to what Willie Simmons said. Talent is not enough. A lot of teams that got beat this past weekend had more talent than the teams that beat them. That is a fact. He wasn't lying when he said that. He also said, what are teams saying about us when they watch the film? Are people saying that they are physical? Are people saying this team is disciplined? Are people saying that do they play smart? All those things are things that you ask yourself, are people saying that about you? Also, too, a couple other things. Oh, my goodness, let me go ahead and move this over. That's not what I wanted. Oh, hold on one sec, guys. He also said this is the biggest game of the season because this is the next one. It's actually kind of interesting he says that, because that actually reminds me of the old Tom Brady adage of which ring is the most important one, and it's the next one, obviously. He also said we can't sit here and think that we're going to moonwalk into the SWAC Championship. Alabama A&M still only has one loss, and they control their destiny, which means, yeah, you need to finish strong. You need to secure tonight. You need to secure next week, although Willie Simmons is undefeated on homecoming and FAMU is riding that home winning streak. So you need to secure things on your end, and you need to lock this up. And you need to beat Prairie View next week, although I shouldn't be looking forward to next week as I say this, but you need to win tonight. You need to beat Prairie View next week, so that way you can leave no doubt as far as whoever comes out of the West has to travel to Tallahassee. Plus, I already booked my hotel room for the SWAC Championship, so there's also that. I don't plan on canceling that. As well, too, also with Willie Simmons' statement about Alabama A&M controlling their destiny, I think that's why you will see the 100 in Huntsville tonight. I don't know if the 100 made the trip tonight to Houston. I mean, some people said that they were going, but I don't think that they did. But, we'll find out here in about an hour, or if those of you that are watching are in Houston tonight and you see them there, say something, please. As well, too, this is FAMU's first time facing Texas Southern in Texas since the 1960s. Of course, we all remember the Jay Gaither Classic when head coach Alex Wood was the head coach in 2017. FAMU throttled them in a physical game that the score really didn't dictate the outcome. It's a 27-7 game. As well, too, FAMU comes into this week after dropping 2 spots ranked in the AFCA Top 25 Coaches Poll. And as well, too, last time out against Southern, you had 392 yards of total offense, 325 passing, and 67 of that was rushing. You rank 5th in the FCS in defense. Anthony Dunn currently ranks 5th in the FCS in sacks still. So, there's a star in the making right there still. And, you plan to see the 5th best defense in FCS football continue to flex its muscles tonight. Special teams scored an explosive first half field goal block last week. Kendall Bowler, once again, Johnny on the spot. Hopefully that's the case again tonight. You want to be efficient in special teams tonight, continuing to show that, you're efficient in all 3 phases of the game. Offense, I'm hoping, takes a step forward again tonight, especially with the running game. And that leads to players to watch for tonight. You have Jeremy Musa, who was 31 of 51 last week, 325 yards, two TDs. Terrell Jennings, 7 carries, 34 yards. This rushing attack needs to pick it up. As well, too, Marcus Riley, 7 receptions, 97 yards, 1 TD. Jamari Gassett, 3 receptions, 39 yards, 1 TD. And don't forget, Jamari Shareed, who is a Texas guy, returns back to his home state of Texas tonight. Linebacker Isaiah Major, 11 total tackles, 6 solo, 5 assists, and half a tackle for loss. He was basically assisting on that. And also, too, your the 5th best, or the man who's 5th in the nation in sacks. Let me say it like that. 7 total tackles, 4 solo, 3 assists, and 1.5 tackles for losses. And then also, too, linebacker Johnny Chaney Jr., 6 total tackles, 1 solo, 5 assists. Look, that defensive front's going to be called upon. Texas Southern, they ran the ball efficiently last week against Bethune. Give or take, I know it's Bethune, but it's also at the same time, too, it's like little victories like that boost the team's confidence for the next week. So it's like, you know what? You need to come out early and let them know you're not going to run the ball well on us. But it's a question that I also pose here in a few. Or actually, I can pose it now. How does the Dark Cloud defense stop this rushing attack that Texas Southern is going to present with? It's a great question because last week they gave up 125 yards on the ground to Southern. And Texas State's running back, Ladarius Owens, had 163 yards and 3 TDs last week against Bethune. So your run defense is going to have to step up to the challenge early and often. Texas Southern should not reach 100 yards over on the ground at all. How Southern did is still a mystery. Well, not really a mystery, but Southern shouldn't have gotten what they got. And of course, that's why that attributes to the 19 points. Also, too, how much longer until FAMU clinches the East and home field? Well, as far as that goes, I guess because now it's safe to talk about it now. What needs to happen is you got to take care of business tonight. You have to take care of business on homecoming. Let it be known now that nobody in the West is going to be hosting the SWAC Championship. That's what you need to do these next 2 weeks. And then the first weekend of November, you can clinch against Alabama and A&M. Give or take, we still want to throttle and beat the crap out of Bethune Cookman in the Florida Classic. And, of course, you want to beat the crap out of Lincoln, which you will because Tennessee State dropped a 50-piece on them. But these next 2 weeks are crucial as far as securing home field advantage. Because from what I've found out, and this is just as messy as this conference is, and this conference is a freaking crap show if you ask me. But apparently, so FAMU could, in fact, say, for instance, not metaphorically speaking, if FAMU were to lose against Prairie View next week, and say Prairie View wins out, they secure the West, even though they don't have a better record. FAMU goes 9-2, they win out. Prairie View would still then host, apparently, which makes no sense. So it's whoever secures the head-to-head versus whoever has the better record. I always figured, best record should host, but since it's not, this is a situation where you need to win these two tonight and you need to win next week and take it out of the West to where they don't even have a chance. Put it in your court. That's what needs to happen right now. So with that being said, why is, and I think I already just answered it, why is today critical for home field advantage in the SWAC Championship? You just heard why. Now also too, why might the run game be in store for a big day today? Why? Texas Southern, interestingly enough, they present with a 3-2-6 defense, which I found to be very interesting. And Willie Simmons actually mentioned this to the T20 quarterback club. I forget which day it was because I've had a busy week myself. But he did mention, they have a 3-man front. All of these linemen that are down, they wear single-digit numbers. And Texas Southern's defensive coordinator was at Grambling for 10 years prior to coming to Texas Southern. So I'm not sure if he was the DC for Grambling last year, which means FAMU should be familiar with him from the past 2 seasons when he was under Broderick Fobbs in 2021 and then when he was under Hugh Jackson in 2022 last year when FAMU went to the hole. So you should know what to expect. But also, too, that 3-man front can be pretty vulnerable if you hit the holes right. Terrell Jennings, Jaquezi Ant, Kelvin Dean, Leland Woolhoyt should have a big day today. Or even, too, if you line up Kareem Burke and in the backfield or even in the slot and let him get going on reverses or something like that or on some counter plays, they should be effective. Wear out the beef up front for Texas Southern if you can. But I also expect it to be a little bit of a challenge environmentally because of the fact that Texas is dry heat. So, guys like Jordan Moore and Jamari Shareed, and even too, I would say, Isaiah Major, they're used to playing in this type of element. The rest of the team, not too sure. I don't think it really will play that big of a factor, but I don't like dry heat's different than humidity. That is a fact. That's one reason why I could probably never live out west or anywhere west of the Mississippi River. So that's just my opinion. But I do think the run game is in for a big day today. I think you have to exploit this 3-man front. We're out these big guys, and you have a chance. Also, too, why is it important to focus on tonight and not what's coming next week? With homecoming being next week, it's easy to kind of look ahead a week. But, with that being said, it's if you saw Why Not Us, and if you know Willie Simmons and how he preaches it, 120 of these, 130 of you don't get to enjoy the activities of homecoming. Homecoming is for people like me, like all 13 of you that are watching, that I'm able to see, that are watching probably on YouTube, and a couple others on Facebook and Twitter. Homecoming is meant for us. Homecoming is not meant for them. They are the grand finale show on Saturday that will send us all home Sunday with smiles on our faces. When they graduate, they are able to enjoy it. So that's one reason why you can't get caught up in it and see like, okay. But yeah, you can't get caught up in the moment and stuff. You have to stay focused on tonight and do what you're supposed to do tonight. Come home for homecoming, focus on Prairie View. Don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, what's going on back home? The banners are up, the flags are up. Oh my gosh, can't wait. Don't get caught up in that. Focus on tonight. Jennings can get his 100-yard game if he gets the touches. I agree, he can. I definitely agree. Or if he just runs with a purpose, keeps his balance, and demands the ball more. Or if I'm Willie Simmons and I'm seeing that Jennings is running over and bowling over people and administering punishment to everyone in front of him, hell yeah, I keep feeding him. I don't go away from it. That's why, you should be able to exploit this 3-man front easily. You should. Will they? That remains to be seen. But they should exploit it. But we'll see. But I'm anticipating that they will. Also, too, well, I guess I answered that. I guess we can hop into. Oh, here we go. Why is rattling Jace Wilson, Texas Southern's QB, a top priority? Why is that? It goes into my question for Texas Southern. Is Jace Wilson growing every week as a passer? Even though he didn't throw a touchdown pass last week, he is. Why is that? He's got somebody like Andrew Body from Texas Southern right there on the sideline, basically coaching him up, along with his offensive coordinator and QB coach and coaches on offense. So having someone that's already played the position, who is out, unfortunately, with a shoulder injury, and we wish him all the best as far as working back towards recovery, having someone like that to coach you and to be a mentor to you, that pays dividends. That's an extra set of eyeballs basically telling you, this is what you need to do. This is where you need to go with it. This is how you need to approach this look. If they show this is what you need to check to. If they show that, this is what you check to. If they don't show this, run this. If they show that, go ahead and just run it. If you identify your play clocks wherever it is, which is also another thing that I should add on for Musa. Visiting team in a soccer stadium. First thing you do when you go out for warmups, if you're a quarterback or anybody on offense, identify where the play clock is in warmups. Get used to that now, so that way you know where to look throughout the game if this game gets in a pinch. So yes, do I think Jace Wilson's growing every week as a passer? I do. Do I think he's going to be presented with probably his greatest challenge of the season so far, with the 5th best defense in the FCS? Statistically, I do. So we're going to see, just how well the chemistry between him and Andrew Body is tonight. Also, too, so as far as Texas Southern goes, they averaged 26.5 points. According to ESPN, they're winners of 2 straight. As we all know, last week they upset Bethune for their homecoming. Also, too, they were gifted a lot of positive plays by Bethune. I will say that. I'm sure that TSU will blitz a lot. We can exploit that with a tight end or slot receiver, which will allow Musa to get the ball out of his hands quick. Yeah, you can. You definitely can because, three-man front, especially if you're gashing it early, they're going to send the blitz. And whether they send one linebacker or both, especially on third and short, the tight end pop passes are going to be wide open. As well, too, passes out in the flat, if you can get it there quick enough, we're going to be wide open. That's one thing that absolutely was very beneficial for Kamari Young last week was, him slipping out, being the safety valve for Musa and everything, being able to get quick first downs, keep the chains rolling. He's been that way really all season long. But it does help, Kobe Gross is kind of coming on in his role. You have Jeremiah Pruitt, who was questionable during the week, who is likely to play tonight. And then you also have TJ Huggins, who is questionable with a leg injury. He's likely to play tonight. If you heard Willie Simmons' press conference, it's likely Jalen Goss won't play, but he will dress. But I agree with what you're saying, JMC. I agree with what you're saying. Also, too, K-Dot is active. Jamari Sharif will play tonight, as you saw. I think he might have been concussed against Southern. Who knows? But he looks like he's shaking it off based on the pictures and stuff. And, of course, with concussions, you can always kind of tell by a person's eyes if they're fully back to being what they need to be or not. But also, here we go. 3 consecutive games where Jace Wilson hasn't turned the ball over. Dark Cloud defense, once again, going to be called upon to end that streak. 388 yards of total offense. This was a very balanced offense against Bethune last week. 189 passing, 199 rushing. You're going to be tasked with stopping this early and often. Secondary, you got to flex your muscles. Run game, interior, you got to flex your muscles. You got to stand up. I don't care if this is a 2-4 team or if they were 4-2. You got to impose your will early. But at the same time, too, this offense surrendered 200. Was that against PAPP? Okay, I'm not sure. 9 penalties for 110 yards last week as well. They will make the mistakes, but at the same time, too, Bethune-Cookman is not a good team. They give the Texas Southern a lot. Hence why you saw the score in 34-31 like it did last week. Now, as far as players to watch goes for Texas Southern, Jace Wilson, 15-29, 189 yards. Didn't throw a touchdown, didn't throw any interceptions. Running back Ladarius Owens, 19 carries, 163 yards, 3 TDs. As well, too, wide receiver Trenton Leary, 6 receptions, 82 yards. Linebacker Jacob Williams, 13 total tackles, 9 assists, 4 solo, 2.5 tackles for losses. As well, too, linebacker Isaiah Bogarty, 12 total tackles, 3 solo, 9 assists, 1 tackle for loss, and half a sack. And then big number 5, he is the big man in the middle for them. Alinus Noel III, 10 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 assists, 2.5 tackles for losses, and 2 sacks. It's going to look, you may have to double team him at some point. You're going to have to double team him, and everybody's going to have to get a hat on a hat. Or really, if we feel like, center against nose tackle, you can win a one-on-one battle, get a hat on a hat, just come downhill. It's a 3-2-5. Or my bad, not 3-2-5. It's a 3-2-6 against 5 offensive linemen. That comment right here. Yeah, no, he is. Yep, he'll play. He is going to play tonight. I think he may have been concussed, but I mean, that was a nasty hit he took. It was also legal. I know some people didn't like it, but it was legal 2 weeks ago. But based on the photos and stuff, and even, seeing him participating and talking with Coach AC Carter on Instagram and stuff, he's a go. Now, also to, a couple of questions as far as Texas Southern goes. How do they keep FAMU off balance? Well, you know what? I would say a consistent running game. If they're able to establish their run, it's going to keep us off balance tonight. but I'm confident that it won't. I'm confident film study will play a vital role in this. You will see the mistakes from Southern, and the bye week will also help with getting guys back healthy. And I don't think that Texas Southern will have easy going as far as running the ball tonight. Been hard to keep. Oh yeah, no, I agree, and that's why I expect a big night from him and Jordan Moore. I expect him and Jordan Moore to probably stand out the most tonight and be the most. I expect Jamari Shareed to be most involved in the offense more than he has been this whole season. I expect him to, honestly, score a punt return touchdown tonight. I expect that. And I'm also going even further and say I expect Jordan Moore to get a defensive score tonight or make some type of impact tonight defensively. That's what I'm expecting because I think both guys are going to play heavily motivated games, and I think both guys are going to have a coming out party, even though they've already really made their presence felt. I think this will be an even bigger coming out party since they're back home in Texas tonight. And I think that's going to lead the charge for a win. Also, too, let's see. Why is it critical that Texas Southern get off to a quick start and establish confidence? Because why? You're a 2-4 team. You're basically, the SWAC West has already slipped through their fingers. That ship is already sunk. If you're at this point, the only thing Texas Southern's really fighting for is for an upset. That's it. So the longer they hang around, the more they're going to believe. So why? It's up to Willie Simmons in this offense, and it's up to Coach Smitty and this defense and Isaiah Major and Jordan Moore and company to be assertive, establish your dominance early, take Texas Southern out of this game, and put it away. Now, give or take, time zone change, everything like that, 8 o'clock kickoff as far as Eastern Standard Time, things such as that may play a factor. Who knows? We don't know. But I expect FAMU to come out and assert their dominance. Also, too, how vulnerable is Texas Southern's kickoff coverage? Look, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched parts of it. But BCU was able to exploit Texas Southern on a kickoff late in the first half. If you want to be specifics about time, it was about 3:30 in the second quarter where Bethune had a pretty lengthy kickoff return. There are holes. Hopefully, Doc Gamble, who's special teams coordinator, sees these things and is able to exploit it. This is why, again, I say, I expect Jamari Shareed to be impactful in some way, shape, or form on special teams tonight. I know he almost broke one. He almost broke a couple of them against Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic. So he's overdue. Now's the time. Now is absolutely the time. We should win by 35. We should. We absolutely should. This coming out of the bye week now, you're on the home stretch. This is where you should start to flex your muscles. This is where you should start really, looking more efficient on offense, looking more gritty on defense. We can get our hands on some interceptions too on defense. And when you get your hands on them, score off of it. We need some more defensive touchdowns. We've only got one or two through the season. I agree. This would be a great opportunity to play the preseason hype of the team we all thought they were. Yeah, no, right now it would be. Because right now is the time when you really should start to hit your stride. I'm always been a person of like, I don't expect you to come out like gangbusters. I don't like really coming out like gangbusters right away to start a season off, even though starting the season off with a kickoff return touchdown and an offensive explosion in the first half was pretty impactful. It still wasn't a complete game, but I think now, coming out of Southern, physical game, and then coming out of a bye week, getting guys back healthy, now you should start to really just assert your dominance, show why you were picked to be the preseason favorite. Also, if anything, too, looking at the FCS polls, even though we know the FCS playoffs isn't really a factor for FAMU, seeing that I dropped 2 spots because North Dakota State lost, I'd be pissed off. Personally, because we were the 16th best team in the country. Now we're 18th because North Dakota State lost. But because we didn't play a game for 1 week, we drop 2 spots, oh, I'd be heated. That's another reason why, too. I would be trying to every week, regardless of FCS playoffs or not, I'm doing my damnedest if I'm FAMU right now to climb into the FCS top 10. And I know some of you are going to say, well, the polls don't matter. The polls don't matter. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, personally, that number for me, I would prefer it to be a lot lower. I want to see this team climb into the top 10. I don't believe that Willie Simmons trusts Musa like he says he does. Well, I'll say this. Willie Simmons has come out to defend his quarterback multiple times. Publicly. He's even offered fans that are critical of Musa to pull up to the field house and sit down with Musa and this offense and sit down with Willie Simmons and watch film. He even said, too, you're free to call in and ask Musa what is he seeing on every play. If that doesn't exude confidence, I don't know what does. Because I see the confidence. Because, again, us as fans, we see one thing, we assume one thing, when it's totally the other thing. And we've been here before as well, too. I'm sure I've said this multiple times. A lot of it is piss poor route running, drops, not making the right read. A lot of it is that. So can't pin it all on Musa. As well, too, here's another perfect example. Willie Simmons mentioned this as well. When the play broke down against Mississippi Valley and Musa threw that pick, I believe it was at like the end of the first half, Willie Simmons was saying, why didn't all the wide receivers roll to that side of the field to kind of give a safety check down for Musa? That's what you're supposed to do. That's what's been taught to you. Why didn't you do that? And he was even saying because wide receivers didn't do that, Musa's a terrible quarterback. So I don't think that a lot of it is Willie Simmons not trusting Musa like he says he does. I think a little bit of it is, wide receivers not running the right routes. Miscommunication and not knowing where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there by wide receivers, and, missed assignments. Guys are injured too. Yes, that ranking drop didn't make sense. Usually teams that go into the bye week remain in their spot. Hey, I question it. If like I said, man, look, I'm trying to climb. I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to climb regardless of FCS playoffs or not, or Celebration Bowl or not. I'm trying to climb. Just thinking that polls don't matter. And hear that, but I also watch how the play calling starts to change when Musa starts to miss on passes. Yeah, and you also see how when Musa's on and the play action passes start to get going, he gets hot, which honestly I think so too. And also too, if you think about it, Musa's what? 12 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. Statistically, he's on pace to have a better season than he had last year. Quarterbacks progressively get better in year 2 of Willie Simmons' offense. Ryan Stanley's significant jump from year 1 to year 2. Not to mention also, too, we're probably as much criticism as Jeremy Musa gets. He's likely going to probably be SWAC Offensive Player of the Year by season's end. He likely is. I'm just going to be honest. I know we have these high expectations of quarterbacks because FAMU's had great quarterbacks in years past, and rightfully so, and we all want Musa to be better. Heck, I want Musa to be better. I do. But right now, I think he is doing a good enough job to be dominant in this conference. I don't see anyone else better. I really don't. And he's also not putting this team in jeopardy to where they're losing games. If anything, last week was a key example of, taking command of this offense, 2 touchdown passes, leading this offense like he was supposed to, and going out there and winning that game, delivering in the clutch, finding Jamari Gassett when he was supposed to deliver a knockout blow to Southern. Just saying. So as far as keys to victory goes tonight, actually, I typed them up this time. I feel so proud of myself. Key to victory number 1. Establish the run tonight. You're going up against a 3-man front. Establish the run, assert your dominance early. Also, 2, quarterback's best friend is what? And I've been saying this for a long time. This is even relevant in the NFL. Quarterback's best friend is a run game. You run the ball well, you take the pressure off of them. I still wish that Musa had mind to play like Ben Doherty played. Ben made plays happen. He had no problem pulling the ball down and running when he had no one to throw to. Ben was tough. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Actually, I saw 2 years of Ben Doherty. So I agree with that. That's very true. There are certain things that I look at the offense that Ben Doherty was in. And, of course, that's just Billy Joe's genius play calling. And I say to myself, like, a lot of that stuff that Ben Doherty was doing, I wish Willie Simmons would incorporate and take a page from Billy Joe's playbook. Because, it's still Gulf Coast offense. Spread them out, go to work. An inside shovel pass, things like that would be great. So, and also too, I do wish Musa would run more. I do, but I also look at it too, like when Willie Simmons came in, Ryan Stanley didn't really run much. Ryan Stanley, when Willie Simmons came in, also didn't have a QB play sheet on his wrist. Musa, under Willie Simmons, doesn't run much. He will if there's absolutely no one there. And there's a lane sometimes, but he also doesn't wear a QB wristband. It's 2 things I've noticed. With Ben Doherty, you had a guy that was tough and that would run if the lane was there. Also, Billy Joe had him wear a QB wristband to keep the plays on his wrist. So I don't know what that is with Willie Simmons of why his quarterbacks don't wear QB wristbands and stuff with the plays on their wrists, but it's just a little tidbit. It's just a little tidbit that I've noticed, but I agree with what you're saying. But yeah, key to victory number 2, stop the run. This team had 1 man had 163 yards rushing last week. Stop the run on defense. That's your primary goal. You stop the run and make Jace Wilson have to throw it, knowing there's no threat of running the ball. You have a chance of getting some turnovers. Make Ladarius Owens quit. Literally. Make him quit. Make him realize, shit, I want to go back out there. General Hunt will tear my what up. That's what needs to happen. And finally, key to victory number 3 as it pertains to the rest of the season. Stay focused, stay disciplined, stay hungry. You have not clinched anything yet. You want to clinch home field? Win tonight. You want to clinch home field? Win again next week. You want to lock up the East? Win the week after that. And then destroy the team from Daytona Beach at the end of the regular season. if DJ Boney ever sees the field, it'll be over for Musa. But there's a staff member that's in Simmons' ear that won't let that happen. Yeah, and honestly, I've been thinking about that. This is going to be an interesting QB battle this coming off season, because you have Junior Muratovich, you have DJ Boney, you have Kyle Fitzgerald, and not to mention the possibility that likely there will be a QB that comes in via the portal. So you have 4 guys, and also 2 Ja'Cory Jordan, I believe, if he has eligibility. So you have 5 guys that are going to be vying for a starting spot next season. So from after the Celebration Bowl to that MEAC SWAC Challenge in Atlanta against Norfolk, you're going to have, depending on who hits the portal and who doesn't and who stays and who goes and who comes in, you're going to have, from what it looks like right now, projected maybe 5 guys fighting for that spot. And that's fine. A little competition ain't never hurt nobody. I'm curious to see DJ Boney in this offense. I know it'll be next year. It's going to be between him and Muratovich right now. That's what I think. But if he doesn't hit the transfer, yeah, exactly. Hopefully all of those guys can stay. But right now, looking at it on paper, it's an interesting QB battle because we've seen Muratovich play before. We haven't seen DJ Boney in an actual live game in this offense, so it'll be interesting. I think whoever does come in next season, whoever of the guys that have been within this program, I think that it's going to be statistically similar to Rashawn McKay, where they were at least at minimum good enough to win games and not turn the ball over. Definitely been wondering what next year looks like for us. Yeah, sometimes you gotta just keep that in the rear, not in the rearview mirror, but you gotta keep it like stowed away on the side, kind of it's just something to think about, especially the closer you get to the end here. It's something to think about. I know it's too soon to be thinking about it now, but I mean, it's something that I'm always thinking about. I'm hoping the NCCU will take in that large bid in the NCAA playoffs if given the opportunity, because I don't want to see them. Honestly, it's a possibility they could. It's a possibility. Right now, the way it feels, I don't think that they will, honestly. I don't think that they will. To me, honestly, too, I didn't think that they looked like the 9th best team in the country either Thursday night. I didn't see. I mean, they're a good team. Make no mistake, they're a good team. But I didn't see anything that made me say, well, damn, this is the 9th ranked team in the country in the FCS. Nothing really intimidated me, give or take. It was a physical game against Morgan State, who has a talented defense and did upset Richmond. But, honestly, I mean, I'm curious to play them if we do see them. I'm curious. If they win the MEAC, I think they are obligated to go to the Celebration. Not exactly, I don't think. I think that because, the MEAC season would be over before the FCS playoffs start, they could take a bid. And they are in the top 10. Now, will they be in the top 10 come Monday morning? I don't know. But right now, I think that they wanted to, they probably could take a bid, but I don't think that they will. I think they're going to Atlanta, and I'm curious to play them. But yeah, if he stays, that's your 5th as far as the QB battle for next year. Because I was saying, you have DJ Boney, you have Kyle Fitzgerald, you have Junior Muratovich, you have Ja'Cory Jordan, and you have the possibility of maybe a 5th coming in through the portal, who we don't know who that is yet. So, but again, if he hits the portal, or if someone hits the portal, then it dwindles down to 4, or maybe they bring in another guy and it goes back to 5. Who knows? It can vary. Who's scared of NCC? Honestly, dude, I'm not. I'm actually curious to play him because, again, I didn't see a team that was – I saw a good team, but I didn't see a team that was worthy of a 9th ranking. They're a good team. They're going to likely be the MEAC champs. But, again, we'll see what happens. Still got a lot of football left to play. But, all right. So, oh, geez, we're 15 minutes away from kickoff. So, I'm going to go ahead and drop my score prediction. Y'all can go ahead and drop y'all's as well in the comment section. Tonight, I'm going to go FAMU 34, Texas Southern 17. I think that Dark Cloud defense does stand up and stand tall. I think they get a field goal and 2 touchdowns. As far as Texas, I think that's what Texas Southern gets. But then I think FAMU plays a pretty stout game, a complete game. I think FAMU's too much for Texas Southern to handle. I think FAMU walks away with this win and goes into homecoming at 6-1 and undefeated in the conference. FAMU 28, Texas Southern 10. Yeah, I could see it. Are you streaming the game here? No, unfortunately, I'm not. You have to go to ESPN Plus to watch this game tonight. If you do have a ESPN Plus account, it's pretty simple to get it. I believe it's like $5 a month for ESPN Plus, so it's nothing like too bad. The conference champ is required to go to the Celebration Bowl. Oh, well, there's your answer right there. So, yeah, if NC Central does win out, they aren't taking that bid. Losing homecoming will be horrible. Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen, though. I doubt that's going to happen, which is why it is a must-win. 45-7 FAMU. See it? This should be a blowout. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Why schedule a conference game for homecoming? Well, man, that's been the case realistically ever since I've been going to homecoming, and I've been going to homecoming since 1998. I think all but 1 year, FAMU didn't schedule a team in conference for homecoming, and that was 04 against Savannah State, and that was still a blowout. But before that, I think it was 97 against Southern, where they were a MEAC team. They scheduled a SWAC team, a talented SWAC team at that, because they just wanted payback. And they still beat the crap out of them. Agreed. Play the best and beat the best. Morgan may actually have one of the best defenses in FCS and make a good comparison to the Dark Cloud D matchup. Yeah, honestly, too, I think Morgan State's offense was very inept and lethargic, to be real with you, and I think that was what doomed them as well. ESPN Plus is up to $11 and change a month. It's highway robbery. Damn. I need to go back and look at this now. Jeez, I need to look at how much I'm paying. I might just have to mooch off my mom. The winner gets upwards to $800,000. You got to play for the playoff bid. That's true. Technically, it's not a conference game, East versus West. This is true. This is very true. All right. But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely my score prediction. As well, too, if you are in Texas tonight or if you are in Houston tonight, be safe, of course, as always, and then come right back after the game. We'll be talking about what went right, what went wrong. We'll be talking about, of course, the week ahead, next week, and everything such as that for FAMU, of course. But definitely come back after the game. We're going to be recapping this and putting this one to bed. And then, of course, as always, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you aren't back after the game, make sure you tune in with us Wednesday night for the Run and Gun podcast with me and Ace. We started off season 7, and we're going to keep going next week with episode 2. So, of course, don't go anywhere. But yes. Oops. Hold on. They raised the rate from 9 and change a couple months ago. Dude, that's highway robbery, man. That's insane. That's crazy. Even saw Disney Plus is going up with their prices too. That's insane. But yeah, folks, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have a safe and blessed evening. Enjoy the game tonight, and we will see you after the game. Stay blessed.